Hello dear children. Today we are going to discuss how to answer question number 2 of the second part of the O-level French paper. This question is based on vocabulary and expressions. There are 4 questions provided and 2 questions should be selected and answered. Each question will carry 10 marks. In this chart, you may notice different types of vocabulary questions which had appeared so far in the O-level past papers. You may also notice how the same vocabulary question got repeated twice. So to make it easier for you to follow it, I have highlighted them in different colors. For example, in 2016 and 2018 O-level papers, one of the questions was based on clothes. In 2017 and 18, the 4th question was to use a verb to describe each action. Likewise, you may notice that there is a possibility for the same vocabulary question to appear again. This slide will explain to us different question types that are used in the O-level paper to test your vocabulary. We can identify basically 5 types of questions as to name things, put the words in the correct order, fill a passage with the missing words, match the 2 sides, or write a sentence to describe actions with verbs. And they are based on different vocabulary topics such as numbers, animals, clothes, professions, objects, and body parts. Now, here we take some questions that had appeared already in the past papers. So, for example, if I take 2019 paper, the 4th question is to name the professions. So, if I take the example, there is a guideline for you as Je travaille à la pharmacie. So that you need to find the profession related to that explanation, and the profession is Je suis pharmacien. Likewise, you have to look at the given sentence which explains the profession and identify it and write your answer related to the description given. In this question, you may notice in one side there are words given related to seasons or the time of the day, and in the other side pictures related to them. So you need to match the 2 sides. In this question, there is a paragraph and that you need to read the entire paragraph from the beginning to the end, identify the theme of it and fill the blanks by using the related words to them. Now this is a paragraph which is based on the vocabulary related to the house, parts of a house. So, we realize that when we read the beginning of the paragraph, the first sentence, J'aimerais acheter une maison avec un grand jardin, that it is about a house. And in the second sentence, there is a blank to fill. And when we read it, we need to understand the word missing and fill the blank as Elle aurait 2 étages et ma chambre serait au rez-de-chaussée. Likewise, you need to fill the rest of the paragraph. But here, words are not proposed to you. So it's essential that you understand the theme of the paragraph and use the related words to fill the blanks. In this question, there are pictures given and they are related to an action. We need to identify the action and use a subject pronoun and a verb and explain the action. For example, the first picture in the example is El téléphone. Question number 1, there are 2 kids running, so you can say Il court. In this question, you may notice words that are not in proper order and that you need to identify the correct sentence structure and write it. Put the words in the correct order. So if I take the first example, you may realize that there is a possible subject as wo, and related to that there's a possible conjugated verb as away. But you can't start the sentence taking wo as the subject pronoun and say wo's away. Reason, immediately after the conjugated verb away, there is a hyphen. So that reminds us that it can be a question inverted. So the subject and the conjugated verb is inverted here. So you need to start the sentence with away, which ends with the hyphen, and then you can have your subject pronoun. So this is a question in inversion. So the rest of the words also you need to make them, you need to arrange them so that it becomes a meaningful grammatical sentence. So we can have the answer as avez-vous des magazines pour des jeunes, and ending with a question mark. Now we will see how we can get prepared for this question. You may always use the summary of the vocabulary pages which appear after each lesson in the two prescribed textbooks for the O-level exam. They are Tricolor Total 1 and Tricolor Total 2. So this is a summary of the lessons that you find in those two books. If you take, for example, Tricolor Total 1, there are 10 chapters, and each chapter is teaching us about a vocabulary section. So for example, the first chapter of Tricolor Total 1 is telling us about objects. Likewise, if you go through the two books, you will realize that each chapter has a theme related to the vocabulary. So you need to study these topics and the vocabulary sections related to them. And as we already saw earlier in the previous slides, you will see that the questions are based on basically on these vocabulary sections. Now here, some exercises are proposed to you to practice vocabulary before your O-level exam. So the first question is, like we saw in the past papers, put the words in the correct order. So as I said earlier, first you need to identify a possible subject pronoun, a possible name of a person, or maybe a noun to begin the sentence, and related to that, a possible conjugated verb, so that you can arrange the rest of the words in that same manner so that you make a logical grammatical sentence. So for example, the first one, we can say les étudiants de cette classe sont en vacances. So les étudiants is the subject of the sentence. Related to that, we find the conjugated verb as sont. Question number 2 is to name the places. So that is, they have an explanation at the beginning of the sentence, and you need to identify the place and write the related answer for that. For example, the first one, pour poster une lettre, je dois aller, and the blank is there. So to post a letter, where should you go? You should go to the post office. So in French, to say the post office, you say à la poste. So I write the answer as je dois aller à la poste. Likewise, you need to go through each sentence carefully, identify the place, use the correct contracted article and the related place, and write your answer. Third question is based on the family, the members of the family, vocabulary related to the members of the family. There again, there are a sentence at the beginning, understand the relationship between the family members and fill the blank. For example, the first one says, Roger est le grand-père de Damien. Damien est le petit-fils de Roger. Like that, logically you need to identify the relationship between the family members and write the related vocabulary for that. The fourth question is proposed to match the two sides. In one side there is a beginning of a sentence, and you need to identify the latter part of the sentence from the other side of that are proposed to you and match the two sides. Example sentence number 1. Elle va à la mer pour se baigner. So to answer a question like that, first of all, you need to read all the words that are proposed. And then you may identify the logical sentence structures and you can match the two sides. The last question proposed here today for you is to understand the sentence and underline the correct answer. There again we refer to places or vocabulary related to the town. So for example, if we take the first one, nous marchons sur le. Now that sentence ends with the definite article le. So le we all know refers to something masculine, singular. So the answers that are proposed to you are rue, which is a feminine word, so that you can't use it. We can understand that we can't use it. Le jardin seems to be possible because that is a masculine singular word. Trottoir seems to be also possible, but when you read the sentence, we can say that sur le trottoir, sur, the preposition is guiding us to use trottoir, the pavement, as the correct answer than using le jardin. Okay, so we underline trottoir as the answer for question number 1. Likewise, you may practice these sentences and practice vocabulary related to the two books that are proposed to you, Tricolor Total 1 and Tricolor Total 2. So, I suppose that these guidelines will help you to revise your vocabulary and be well prepared for your O-level exam. Très bonne chance pour votre examen OL.